have this thing that I like to say, I take something away from everything. And if you go into something with that mindset, you'll say, yeah, you know what? I didn't do a great job here, but I learned something from it.
Welcome everyone to another episode of Success Chronicles. And this episode is maybe a little bit different than so many of the ones we've done already, and even some of the ones we have in queue. Often when we watch a video, we watch a podcast, we listen to an interaction. We want to hear the success. We want to hear all the cool stories. And this is a chronicle of success, meaning not everything is the end story. And the end stories are cool. We love hearing all of the cool stories there. But this is what success looks like at the beginning, and it starts with mindset, the way people think. Our team invited Michelle to join us today so that we could talk with somebody that is at the very beginning of their success journey. And this is someone that's had success in other ventures and other businesses, but that are just starting their real estate and their tax lien investing chronicle or their journey. So I want you to listen to what Michelle says, how she says it, and her viewpoint on being afraid. She's got some incredible nuggets. Take a look. Welcome to another Success Chronicle. Today we have with us Michelle Blanchard. So excited to spend a little bit of time with you today, Michelle. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I've heard so many stories about you from our other team members, and so I'm so excited. But first of all, I hear you have an event called Do It Afraid.
So I did. Yeah. So I did a women's conference,
Yeah.
kind of like a women's brunch about a year ago. And it was something I had been wanting to do for years. Like I'm always, my family says I'm always the encouraging one, the positive one. And so people would say, you should do a conference. And I would always say, I'm just a regular working girl. Who wants to hear from me? What do I have to say? And so after a couple of years of planning it, last year I said, you know what? I'm afraid and I'm doing it afraid. And I was like, that's it. That's gonna be the theme for the brunch. And so I did it, and I did it afraid, and ended up having about 80 women that showed up for this event. And it was incredible. Yeah.
I love that mantra, do it afraid.
Do it afraid.
How did it go?
It was phenomenal. I learned a lot because sometimes you think that you plan everything to a T, right? But life is gonna life. Something's going to happen. And it wasn't even bad. It was people were more engaged in certain segments that I thought was gonna be shorter, that
Yeah.
I didn't have as much time. People wanted, I say this humbly, people enjoyed a lot of me talking, but I was planning on being the shortest part and end up being the longest part. And so I didn't get as much time for my panelists, the other women who I was recognizing and who I thought, who had phenomenal things to share. And then I end up having to cut some time with them. And so time management was something that I learned. It was the one piece that I looked back on and I thought, man, I wanted to hear more from those ladies, but everything else went great. The support, the messages, the people coming up to me afterwards saying how it inspired them to go do it afraid. I had t-shirts. I even sent Christina one.
Yeah. Where's mine?
I got you. If you don't mind a pink t-shirt, Brian, I got one for you and your wife. I'll ship it to you.
I'll wear pink.
Awesome. It's really cool.
Do it afraid. It's like a perfect t-shirt. Like if it was black, that's not scary.
There you go. I got you.
All right.
But yeah, so it was good. It was a great experience. And yeah, it was great. It was really, really great. And I'm just glad that the message resonated with people. And that was the purpose of the event. So it was exciting.
So where did the message come from? Like what was going on in your life that led you to say, I need to do a conference for women and title it Do It Afraid?
I feel like that's been my calling. Like it almost one of those things that's just natural and organic, to uplift people and especially women because I relate, right? I relate. And it was just one of those things where a lot of things I do in my life, honestly, Brian, the unorthodox things, I do it terrified. Like I do it afraid. And I'm like, should I? And I'm like, no, I'm doing it. And people will go, aren't you afraid? Yeah, I'm doing it anyway. And so it just kind of stuck with me. Or I will always say, why not? Why not give it a try? Why not? And so then from there, when I started planning the conference, and I said, I'm gonna do it afraid, and then it just stuck. It just stuck. But it really speaks to how I live my life, to be honest.
Who taught you that?
I don't. I would have to say my mom is probably one of the most influential, positive women in my life, who always instilled in me what I could do. And I used to be an I can't kind of kid. And I was like, me? I used to be an I can't kid? And she goes, yeah. And she would always tell me what I could do. And so I think just having that type of support, and someone reminding you what you can do, and my spirituality, just my spirituality of you are not alone, and you'll never know what you can or can't accomplish if you don't try. So even if you're a little fearful, do it anyway.
That's such a good. I absolutely love it. So when's the second conference? When's the second one? Do it afraid
I know.
again.
I do. I have to plan it. I got to tell you, Brian, I learned too. It was very to do it right because it was, I don't know if Christina shared photos. It was absolutely beautiful. I mean, like when people walked in, I wanted people to feel happy and I wanted people to know that I did this thing afraid, right? And so it was beautiful flowers everywhere and the backdrop, and I rented like a couch. It was beautiful, but it was very expensive. And I was afraid to charge people too much money. And so I ended up not making a lot of money on it, but my purpose and the goal was there. So now to plan another one, I got to go back to the drawing board. I got to go back to the drawing board and get some strategy on how to, even if it's not super profitable because it's not what it's for, at least to kind of break even. So I got some work to do.
Yeah. Well, we do a lot of events, Michelle, and we put on a lot of stuff. So if you need some help, let me know.
Listen. I will, Brian, because I got to tell you, I was so impressed. And I don't want to deviate. I know you had some notes. I just have to tell you that I have been so impressed with tax lien code and the events, the professionalism, the careful thought into all these details. That yeah, I'm sure I would definitely reach out for help because you're doing it.
Well, it's so interesting everything you talk about because I one of the things that I've experienced now, Tax and Code, we're celebrating 5 years here in about 2 months
Oh,
that we've been an organization and a
congratulations.
company. And at the very beginning, I was terrified. I had no intention of starting an education company. I had no intention of it all started during COVID. And before COVID, I was just teaching classes. I enjoyed and I loved teaching financial investments, financial education, financial independence, all those things. And then COVID shut everything down. And so I just wanted to start some webinars and I just wanted to keep teaching tax lien investing. And then it just one thing led to another. And all of a sudden it was starting a whole company teaching classes. And I was terrified. And I think sometimes people see the result that we are right now, 5 years down the road, and they don't realize how scary those first entrepreneurial steps are.
Hmm. Yeah. Wow. Good for you.
I love it. I think I'm gonna put that on my wall somewhere. Do it afraid. I'm gonna
All
find
right. Do
somewhere.
it.
Yeah, because it's amazing how I love it. Um, so so we'll share that journey together maybe.
We'll
I
share
I
it. We
love
will.
the do it. I'm gonna steal it.
Okay. Pinky promise. We'll share it.
We'll share it. We'll share it. I'm gonna put it up on my wall. I'll put a plaque up on my wall that says "Do it afraid."
I love it.
Well, tell me about your journey so far with taxing code.
Yeah, it's interesting you asked that, Brian, because again, full transparency, I asked Christina, I said, "Are you sure like that I'm literally just starting." So I think I went to my first session here in the Detroit area, maybe April-ish. And I thought, oh, I'll go. I've been on this journey. of as I look ahead for retirement, like, okay, I'll go. And so I was impressed at, everyone. I said, okay, I'll sign up. And so far, I've, just kind of played around with Marketplace and then I think I bid on four. I think I bid on four tax lien certificates, and I won one. And so I go, well, I've only won one. I don't have a lot to share. Are you sure? I don't want to waste Brian's time. I've seen some of the videos, and it's some people doing some incredible things. So she's like, no, you're going to be totally fine. So I'm like, so here I am. But yeah, but so far I have bid on four. In fact, at the Taxling Expo, I did four there and then won one. So right now, I'm just kind of figuring out I think I've kind of figured out which path I want to go with it. But I will say that my experience so far with Tax Lien Code has been incredible. I'm constantly learning, constantly meeting new people who we're learning together. A few of us even have a group chat after attending some of the events,
Yeah.
and tossing ideas off of each other. So, not a lot in the sense of you know incredible returns or anything just yet, but I'm just
Yeah.
getting started. I'm just getting started, and even that was doing it afraid. Like when it was time to sign up and decide which route I wanted to go, and I went for the diamond edition. Again, I was terrified, and so here I am.
Yeah, so it's so fun, and one of the things that we love to do, I don't say it gets boring, but if all we did was talk about people at the end of the journey,
Yeah,
it's the same story, or you just highlight the success over and over and over again.
hmm,
And one of the things that has stuck out with everybody in our company that I've talked to about you is the mindset that you have, because there are certain indicators that we see as a company that this person is going to be special. And so many times it comes back to the mindset that you have, and the reason we invite you on the call is that when you do things at the beginning that are scary, even if they don't go perfectly, you learn something.
absolutely.
And I think one of the things that gets missed all the time is that we equate failing to to something that it's really not. Like
Hmm.
when we do something new and different and we do it afraid, the majority of the time the outcome isn't going to be what we expect or what we wanted. And that's when the iteration comes. That's when the growth comes. That's when the chain comes. But so many times in our society, there's this belief that if you start something and it doesn't go along the exact path, that you're a failure and that you're bad and that you didn't succeed. But your message has been completely different. Your message is, I'm doing something afraid and I'm going to learn something along the way.
Absolutely. I don't even, how you say wins or losses, or people, you've heard the term, I took an L. Like, I don't even look at an L as a loss. I look at everything as a lesson, right? It's something that this journey was meant for some reason. I mean, down to like, I have this thing that I like to say, I take something away from everything. And if you go into something with that mindset, you'll say, yeah, you know what? I didn't do a great job here, but I learned something from it. Or, man, I nailed that. But now what can I do to level up the next time? And so that's been it for me. And it helps me to keep going. It really helps me to keep going. Because if you just think about the losses, man, it'll cripple you. And I've been there. Like, don't get me wrong. I started a beauty brand business and I kind of put it on the shelf this year, for a lot of different reasons. But man, the things I learned, the people I met, I got to go to the Oscars gifting lounge in LA, just because I met someone and they said, Michelle, your brand looks incredible and we like you. Do you want to come do this thing? And I'm like, huh? My little baby brand. But I learned so much. So I do. I just believe that L is not lost, it's lessons and learnings.
See, you're just giving me all of these cool little nuggets and tidbits.
I love it.
Like everybody, like you throw up an L, right? And that you're a loser or you lost. And
Yeah,
I love transitioning that into you learned a lesson.
that's right.
What lesson did you learn? Are you taking away from your beauty brand?
One of the biggest lessons that I learned was as much as you think you know or have researched on your own, do your best to get a mentor. Do your best to get a mentor. I'm huge on mentorship. And I think that talk about feeling defeated. I reached out during the time I was creating my brand. And I thought that, oh, okay, I'll reach out to someone who's in this business who I think would help. But because they saw me as competition, they weren't interested. And so I should have kept going until I found someone that did, but I stopped and I started doing it on my own. And so I think that was one big lesson. The other lesson that I've learned is that you gotta do better with your numbers. Like I'm a giver, and so I would give away because I almost felt guilty charging sometimes, but then it started to hurt my bottom line. So those are just a couple of, I mean, I could go on and on, but those are a couple of things I learned. But what I learned about myself was that I was fierce in taking chances. Like, and I wasn't ashamed to say that. I didn't feel it was cocky or anything. I was like, you're a total, you're a total badass. And sorry if I couldn't swear, but like, it was just kind of like, you did this thing. You work with manufacturers. You used your own money. You did these things, and then you started connecting with people that said, hey, well, you can access funding. And I use my funding. I hired companies to try to do social media marketing for me, but it didn't feel like me. So every little step about it, I took something away from it. And then what I also honestly learned, Brian, was that I really liked it and it was fun as a hobby, but I really don't think that I don't think I had the passion for it to really make it a big successful business because that part took the fun away from me. So it was almost learning like, what's your fun, passion, hobby versus, you know, a calling or a purpose that's just so organic, that's so natural that it didn't feel forced. And some of the things to make the brand successful felt forced to me. So I don't know.
I have like a laundry list of things from there. You talked about mentorship versus doing your own
Yeah.
on your own. And being an entrepreneur now for over 20 years, there's so many things that just click in my brain that just seem logical. But one of the very first things that I battled with was being an entrepreneur in and of itself. It feels like you're a lone wolf, that you're all by yourself
Hmm.
and you want to do it that way. Like a lot of times I wanted to figure it out. Maybe it's that self confidence, maybe it's arrogance, whatever it is, but you want to do it yourself. You want to prove to everybody around you that you're capable, that you can do it. But this idea of mentorship for me was very, very quick. That I realized that in order to be successful, well, there is a huge benefit from doing it quicker. And the quickest path is having somebody to mentor and coach and train and assist you along the way. But it's such a dichotomy almost at the beginning of being an entrepreneur where you have to trust or you should trust somebody else to help pull you along at the beginning.
Yeah. 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 It was very very interesting. Very very especially in a when there's competition involved, right? And
Yeah.
like some of the things, yeah, you can learn, you can research all day. And even with you also find, and I'm sure you know this as a successful entrepreneur, but even I loved your transparency at the tax expo. You said you guys are seeing things that went great. You didn't see the stuff that didn't, right? And so that was so honest and real. And that was it. I did all the things. I had a marketing company. I had, social media presence, all these things, but it still wasn't generating the revenue and the things that would keep the business flowing. So it was like, okay, you got to take a step back, um, and just kind of figure out, is this really what I should be doing right now? So,
I went to a concert over the weekend, sold out 40,000 person venue. And
wow.
it was incredible. One of the most enjoyable nights that I've had recently. And I took my kids, and my brother-in-law and sister-in-law came with us and had an absolute blast. And you talk about just like the transition of what it took to get there. Like you look at an arena, or it was an outdoor venue of 40,000 people singing along to this artist's songs. And you're like,
Yeah.
man, this guy has made it. And how cool that's got to be for him to have this growth, and you're singing and everybody is singing along and having a great time.
Yeah.
And we got back, and my kids said, have you seen his first music video that he did in high school? And they showed me his very first video, and I'm watching it and I'm like, that guy? That guy went from that to a sold out 40,000 person venue?
Yeah.
Like,
Wow.
if somebody would have seen that very first video and like, that guy's never making it. There's not a chance in this world that that guy is going to make it and sell out 40,000 people, because we just sometimes look at the end and
Yeah.
realize that like there was so much failure along the way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's so true.
So, well, the other note that I took is I love this idea that you're fierce in taking chances.
Yeah.
What were you afraid of when you started your journey with Hacks and Code?
Um, Honestly, it was again, transparency, the financial investment. It was the financial investment. And people, you can have noisemakers, which I'm so blessed. I don't have a lot of noisemakers in my life, and that's intentional. Um, but you see a lot because I found you guys on social media probably like a lot of people do. And you get like, oh, this company's gonna do this, or oh, it's a, you hear all the things about what the company is not, right? Or it's always more money, more money. And so some of that noise for a minute was kind of like, all right, should I do this? Should I make this investment? And I use the word investment because it is like a lot of people, we talk about the cost of everything, but do we know the value, right? And so when you start kind of that was kind of one of my fears of like, am I gonna invest this money and then still not do great, or still not make good money with it, and still not set myself up for the success that I'm looking to do. And I just, there was something inside of me that said, Michelle, you treat yourself really good when things are good. When things are good, you treat yourself good. You'll go spend money on this thing, or to take a family out to dinner, to make someone feel good. Take this leap, this financial leap of faith, and invest in yourself and just see where it goes, because if you don't, you'll never know. You'll be here. And sure, you can shop around, but when you get a good feeling about people, and you get a good feeling about the space you're in, and when I walk away mind blown from a session of like, wow, of like, this is a lot of good information. What more is behind the, kind of like pulling back the layers of an onion? What more is behind? I wanted more. And I just closed my eyes and I was just like, I'm going to do it. And I did it, using OPM. And so I was like, all right, I started weighing the pros and cons of using your credit cards and using these type of things. And I was just like, just do it. And so then I did it. And I did it.
I'm sure there's somebody watching this video that's probably thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
What advice would you give?
The advice that I will give with one, know your why. Know your why. Two, assess the things instead of assessing what could go wrong. Focus on the things that could go absolutely right. That's one of the things. And of course, you have to look at your finances. And sometimes am I a little risky, and sure, right? Sometimes I go, ooh, okay. Okay, and again, I'm a spiritual girl, so I may say, okay, God, what did I just do? But I keep going. I keep going because I think the advice is, again, when you're focused on all the things that could go right and not the things that go wrong, I think you start to manifest those things. And then you put in the work. You start putting in the work to do it. And however it goes, know that you gave it your best effort. That's the advice I would give.
I love that. Absolutely love that. Well, tell me what is your why then? If it's not too personal, what's your
Yeah.
why?
My why is I like to bucket my life in categories. Like there's me because I'm never at this stage of my life I'm not afraid to have a selfish side for me. And I think sometimes in life because of the way we're taught, right? That not to be selfish, but sometimes you got to carve out a little bit for you because you can't pour from an empty cup. So I carve out a why for me is that I look forward to one day being able to retire from my company that I've been at. I just celebrated 20 years, and I've had an incredible career journey. Um, but that time has been with that company and their goals and and making and doing the work at my organization that has taken great care of me. But the why for me is I want a little bit of my time back. I want a little bit of my time back, but I still want to be able to have a good, afford my lifestyle.
Yeah.
And so that's my personal little selfish why. And then there's my mom. And so my mom lives with me. She's been with me probably for maybe 6, 7 years now. And seeing her as she ages, I want to give her an incredible life. And then I'm an aunt. I don't have any children. I'm an aunt. And they look up to me for a lot of things. They always say, Auntie, it's going to be you that's, one of my nieces says, Auntie, it's going to be you that's going to make us rich. And so I always go, get out of here. And so we kind of laugh about it. But they see me, they see the
Yeah.
things that I'm doing. And so it's that little piece for me of looking forward to maybe someday retiring in the next 5 years or so, getting a little bit more of my time back to do more of the things I love. I love speaking and again encouraging people. My mom and then my family just kind of breaking some of those generational things. I know you hear that a lot where it becomes cliche, but I really see it. Like I see it. I think I mentioned to you at the expo that when I grew up, my mom, she was a health inspector and she made minimal money. And so we didn't learn investing and especially investing in like tax lien certificates or tax deeds. Like, and even in my community amongst African Americans, it's not something that was very common that we were taught. So
Yeah.
I just see being able to take this journey and just making it bigger, having my little selfish slice for me, but making it bigger than me.
I'm going to ask this question and then I'm going to shut my mouth for as long as you want to talk.
Sorry, that was long winded.
No, 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 no. I absolutely love it. That's the whole point. You mentioned your nieces.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I hear so often, and it's impactful to me, is this idea of helping the next generation. Talk about generational wealth. But generational wealth has to not just be money, it has to be education. And it
Absolutely.
has to be instilling a new set of beliefs and a new way of doing things into that next generation. Just giving money to our kids, our nieces, our nephews, our grandkids doesn't do anything. They'll blow it. They'll blow it.
Absolutely.
I want you, we're recording this obviously, we'll put it online. It'll be online somewhere forever now, it feels like, with the new way that the internet is. I want you to talk to your nieces. And I want you to tell your nieces what you hope, what you believe, instill into your nieces some Michelle brand advice and education and do it afraid.
So, to my nieces and even my nephew, I can't forget my nephew. Um, look, I pray that you see me and that you see the effort, the work that I'm doing, the risks that I'm taking, the investments that I'm making, and not the things that manifest from it because things come and go. So be true to yourself, stay aligned with your spirituality, and, instill good values, beliefs, and a good work ethic into your children and teach them the value of what all these things do. And again, not focus on getting money because real wealth is knowledge. It's time and it's building and leaving things for not only for you but for your kids. So that's what I would say to them.
That is amazing. Well, Michelle, maybe just one final parting question or comment. is so many times these mindset shifts are hard for a lot of people. You were blessed, it sounds like, with an incredible mom who taught and instilled this belief in you. And I hope that you are a mentor to so many future generations. And that is ultimately the goal of Tax Lien Code. It is empowering people just like you to empower yourself and to empower your generational growth or the people after you. And so it's a blessing for us to meet so many people like you, Michelle, that are growing and hopefully mentor you a little bit and mentor and teach you just your mindset. It's so incredible, but just give you the skills and the processes in order for you to reach those goals. Okay, one last piece of advice to people that are just starting, that don't have the mindset that you have right now. Give me your do it afraid luncheon, brunch, keynote speech.
Yes. All right. So my do it afraid message is just do it. And I know that sounds easier said than done. But to do it, first things first, you've got to start here. You've got to start with your mindset. You have to shift from a I can't to I can, and then I can, I will, so you can say I did. That's what I would say. And then in addition to that, your environment is so important. If you are around negative people telling you what you can't do or why this won't work, lovingly wish them well. And sometimes it's family. Sometimes it's family. And we can't change our family, right? We can't get rid of them, but we can control the space. We can control access, and we can control the things that we listen to and that we read and that we ingest. And I would just say be mindful of those things. Be mindful. Pump yourself up with positivity and take the leap. Take the leap and just ask yourself, if I don't make this change, what will my life look like? But if I do make this change and it works, how incredible would my life be for me, my kids, my family, myself, my health, and all those things.
Well said, Michelle. I'm glad that you're doing it afraid. I'm glad that you did it afraid. I'm glad that you continue to do it afraid. Thanks for spending a couple minutes with us. I can't wait to see you again. I can't wait to this energy, this positivity. I absolutely love it. It's something that we all need in our lives. So thank you very much.
Thank you. I love it. And I don't know if I can say anything. I want to thank you. And I don't know if you guys need to start recording. That's totally fine. I just want to say thank you. As I mentioned to you at the expo, I think that what you and your team are doing and what you're building is so incredible. And even, with your son and talk about teaching and education, like that's the real wealth, right? Like, of course, we all want more money, of course, but the wealth in educating and then seeing your kids do it. And so I think that it's incredible. I think the way that your team operates, everyone is very friendly, very helpful, very encouraging, and not pushy, right? Like not pushy, but helpful. And so I love that. And so I don't know, in the future, maybe I can work with the tax lien code. I don't know. I just think it's such an incredible, positive group of people that I'm excited about more events. I'll be at the next event in September. And one of the future events, I should say. So I'm excited, and I just want to say thank you, and thank you for seeing me. Thank your team for seeing me and even selecting me to have this time with you. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Michelle. It's always a pleasure. That expo was a blast for me. That was the first time my son has participated in that format, and so I'll pass it along to all the team as well. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much. Have a great day, Brian.
Thanks for watching this episode with Michelle. As I said at the very beginning, there's so many mindset things that I hope you took away. I took so many notes and I'm writing down constantly, but a couple things that she said, I loved her do it afraid mantra. I loved that idea. I love the idea that L doesn't stand for losers, it stands for lessons, because in my life and my own journey, I'm realizing and watching so many people come through Tax Lien Code and watching their process and their journey, that the vast majority of people, almost every single person we talk to and that we interact with, that success is not about the financial situation that you start with. None of that really matters. Success is about the mindset. That some people give it a percentage. I don't know what that percentage is, but for me, 90%, 99%, almost 100% of your ability to succeed is here. It's the mindset that you have. You could have all the money in the world, but the wrong mindset, and you're not going to be successful. We've seen it so many times inside of Tax Lien Code, talking with students, people that start with nothing, with no money, but they have the right mindset. They believe in themselves. They're unafraid, or they're afraid, but they take the challenge, they take the step, they start the journey. And that mindset, that ability to start while you're afraid, is the biggest indicator of success that I've seen. Thanks for watching. Click the subscribe link, follow along. We'll see you next time.